Netflix is about to buy Warner Brothers for $82 billion, or $100 billion if Larry Ellison and his son get their way. You and I have had this debate forever. Who produces better content? Who has a better product for shows? HBO or Netflix?
We have had this debate for years, and I mean, I think it's no question HBO has the best shows of all time. It's got The Wire, it's got The Sopranos, it's got Game of Thrones. I mean, all the most premium TV is HBO. They invented premium TV.
Who owns HBO?
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, HBO's just sort of been changing hands for years, right? It got sold to AT&T, then it got sold to Discovery, and now it's getting sold to Netflix, right?
This is the core idea, right? Like I've always been interested in the economics of it. I've not been interested necessarily in the excellence of it, right? And so this is what's fun about this is that, you know, HBO is no question the better shows. It is the better product, unquestionably. And it is now getting bought by the sloppiest of all of these different kind of producers. It's getting bought by Netflix. So and Netflix, why does Netflix win? Because they have 300 million subscribers. They have distribution, which is much more powerful than product. And the funny thing about this, I was like, wow, this is huge for Netflix. I mean, they get the Batman movies, they get The Sopranos, they get The Wire, they get so much good Game of Thrones. They have so much good IP. But what they're scared of apparently is YouTube. And YouTube has even more distribution globally than, of course, Netflix does.
And even shittier content. The shit my son watches on YouTube is like so mind-numbingly stupid. Like people tying their shoes, people opening boxes, people playing with boxes. It's so stupid.
I completely agree with you. Well, but the key point here is all of this is like HBO, best product, got beat by Netflix, better distribution, right? Worst product, better distribution. Netflix is worried about YouTube, which is yet again a worse product, but even better distribution. So like, it's quite clearly like the arc of this is very clearly a good enough product is important, but what really matters is incredible distribution.
Right. I mean, you could almost think of this through the lens of like Oscars. Like if Moonlight, you remember that movie?
Yeah, of course.
Like, great movie, won the Oscar. Yeah. Like how many people saw that movie compared to like The Dark Knight, which I think lost that year, maybe even to Moonlight, right? So it's like, how come the things that are the best product never seem to be the ones that have the most commercial success? At least in the context of the entertainment industry.
So I think in some sense you could say product sets the floor, but distribution determines the ceiling.
Jeff has said so many smart things over the years. Like I could probably name 100 smart things he said, but this is one of the only really dumb things Jeff Bezos has ever said, where he said, you know, advertising is the price you pay for an unremarkable product.
Why is the product delusion so pervasive? It is because Silicon Valley culture, and maybe Netflix is the finest example of this, like it's now technology taking over culture, taking over TV, taking over shows. Silicon Valley culture is so pervasive that everybody believes that the product delusion is the right way to think about things. And for someone like Bezos or Sergey Brin or Satya Nadella, it's true. But as we always joke, like, you're not Microsoft, you're not Netflix, you're not Google, you're not OpenAI, you're not Anthropic. And even if you were, I don't think the product probably is the only thing that determines it quite clearly. Like Google still pays $10 billion a year to Apple to be the default search engine on the iPhone. So, but it is basically like this, the culture is determined by product people. And so everybody believes that the product illusion is the real thing. But for most people, it is clearly not the real thing.
Right. I think this maybe is a good opportunity to bring in this idea of satisficing, right?
I love satisficing, yeah.
Satisficing is a fun idea because I'd say it's like one of the earliest hit ideas in behavioral economics, right? So if we were to tee it up, we'd say, you know, starting in about the 1800s, there was this idea of homo economicus, right? Which is the idea that people are purely rational. And that then if you just transfer that over to purchasing behavior, it means when they're deciding to buy something, they're basically running a cost-benefit analysis of how good is this thing relative to the other things I could buy. You know, is the price reflect that? Okay, if my calculations in my head are accurate, I'm going to buy this product. And then Herbert Simon introduced this idea of satisficing, for which he won the Nobel Prize. Is that right, John?
He did.
He did. And what is the idea? It's that people basically choose good enough products.
Yeah, we're not so much homo economicus as we are like homo satisficis.
So I think it also comports with a lot of the Ehrenberg Bass thinking on mental availability, which really is all just saying like people are lazy. So they just kind of make these snap judgments.
And this is true in the physical world. Like when you, as you say, when you go into to buy toothpaste, you're not reading the back of every toothpaste, to kind of figure out which one has the best ingredients, the best product. You're like, that one has scope in it, or that one like will make my teeth look white.
And it's particularly pervasive in B2B, I guess, because they're complicated products, or maybe because in B2B you have to actually rationalize the decision you made to other people on the buying committee. So there's a very pervasive notion in B2B that people really are considering every vendor, issuing an RFP, and then evaluating the relative, product features and specifications.
It's also, by the way, important to note that if you go into any grocery store, there's all these slotting fees. You pay, like eye level is buy level. You pay for the slotting. So you're not getting the best product. You're getting the product that had the ability to like pay for that slot, right?
Eye
so
level is buy level.
Yeah,
that's hot.
yeah.
I never heard that before. And then if you think about how it affects marketing, this is where it's really sad. The marketing department basically gets told, your job is to communicate in excruciating detail all the features of this product and prove rationally that we have the best product. So people think it's almost like an argument with the market, where you're arguing with your customer, you're debating them to prove your product is better than the other product. When in fact, that's not really the game. The game is coming to mind, being mentally available when people are in a buying situation. That's much more likely to get you bought than proving your product is 10% better, right?
And I would say AI is accelerating this problem. And so in a place where that no longer matters, what matters? Things like brand will matter a lot more. Attention, which is just brand, will matter a lot more. So the equilibrium is shifting, I would say, in favor of something we care a lot about, which is marketing, brand. You could even say like AI and the creator economy have come up at the same time. And that is maybe not a surprise. As the technology becomes less differentiated, the person becomes more important.